Kelly Malazzi, full disclosure, this is a misleading title. It is. This short attention span webinar says 3 things every customer wants. And, that's not necessarily what we're going to talk about here. Sorry.
So you mean it's not donuts, bagels, and cookies?
Oh, write that down, folks. There you go. There's bonus information. I should say the one thing that every customer wants is revenue. Now, let me explain. You're trying to make a sales call that it's a prospecting call. You're trying to get their attention. And you've heard Bill and Kelly talk about you need something of value to say when you pick up the phone. So you're doing research on the company. If you could help the customers, makes perfect sense, right? If you had an idea that would help them to drive revenue, then the purpose of your call becomes that subject, right? That's what we're thinking here. So there's the point of this is there's 3 ways for a customer to grow. So when you're doing your research prior to picking up the phone and you're trying to coming up with something valuable to say, there are 3 things you can focus on. Number 1, Kelly, very simple. You, me, the NAPL, and each and every one of our customers drives revenue when we get more customers, right? So what would that, give me a hypothetical if you can, of like research you will have done. What does that voicemail sound like? The purpose of my call is to talk to you about what?
Well, or I might say something like, my job is to help companies like yours communicate more effectively with new customers or find new customers, something like that. It's about your positioning. So I like to use phrases like my job is, or my mission is, or I'm of service to my customers when I.
Okay.
So yeah, you're just, again, it's differentiating yourself, and it's just saying I'm here because I understand why you're there, right? So you with that very basic marketing kind of understanding or acumen, you're saying that you're there to solve problems, achieve goals, and help them maybe do things a little bit differently.
But the research process looks like this. These guys have to get more customers. Everybody loses 10 to 15% of their overall, their client base every year. Again, you, me, the NAPL, and all of our customers, we all lose 10 to 15%. How is this company going after new business? You want to look at their website through those eyes. Same thing here. How are they getting more from existing customers? Think for a second, Kelly, about Six Flags, right? The amusement park system throughout the United States. If you're thinking to yourself, how are they getting more customers? Well, you go into Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks, there's a little coupon there that says everybody pays $25. They're trying to get more people to come in for the first time. But then, once they get them, now they're trying to get them to come back. And so how could you help Six Flags to get the Malazzi family to come back a second time? Answer that question, and you're going to have your sales call, right? That's what we're talking about here.
And so when you're calling on that person, or this is the tack you're taking, you want to tell them that you have questions that you want to ask them in order to help them have a more meaningful relationship with their existing customers. Or you have ideas to share with them that will help them do this. Or, you might say something a little more provocative in your voicemail that says, there's 3 things I need to know. Call me back, like 3 things I need to know from you, and I'll help you find, have a more meaningful relationship with your existing customers. And so again, it's a different conversation than I can get you a better price per thousand on your postcards.
But Kelly, here's the problem. I've never run a Six Flags America. I don't know what I can do to get more from existing customers or more customers. So I don't know the answers to that.
Right. There's some basic questions that you're going to want to ask them. And really almost across the board, they are going to deal with how, what kind of data do they collect on their existing customers? Tell me about your loyalty or rewards programs. What kinds of ways are you communicating with them now? And they may, again, it's all, you need to be prepared for every answer that you hear, so you know the kind of follow-up question to ask from that. But I would just recommend that you all put yourself in the position of, number one, a customer. If you're a customer of Six Flags and you haven't ever been to their water park, what would they need to do in order to get you to come to their water park? And again, if you're the customer, what have you tried in the past to try to promote different things that are going on within the park? So this is, again, a place that you really want to do your homework on the site. Oh, I see you're doing kind of nighttime programming. I see you're doing group programming. I see you're doing charity programming, things like that. I mean, you want to pay a lot of attention so you can ask insightful, meaningful questions when you get the opportunity.
And you mentioned water park, and that's the example that I use for this third one, which is a new direction. So that there's 3 ways, other than mergers and acquisitions, to get revenue, right? More customers, more from existing customers, and you can go into a new direction. So, Six Flags looks and says, boy, if we throw a water park on the side here, we'd get more people to walk around, and we get them to stick around longer, or we can charge them more, or this helps us to service an entirely new market. You look at Apple. All right, look at how they're doing this. They're getting more from existing customers. They're pulling in new customers by expanding their product line. But then they're also saying, hey, guess what? We're going to go into the wristwatch business, or we're going to go into the television business. That's how they expand. So that's a really good example. And this is the kind of thought process. That's the point here, gang. Again, I apologize for the misleading title. If you want your money back, just call Kelly. Her phone number is on your screen now. But this is the point. The way to make a valuable sales call is thinking with this in mind. Everybody needs volume. Everybody wants revenue. How are they doing those 3 things? If you can solve that, you can crack that nut, then you can get the appointment, and you're going to be much better off. It's going to be a much better sale. All right, Kelly, that's it from me. Do you have anything else you want to say?
Bagels, donuts, cookies.
I get a feeling you're hungry. All right, everybody, thanks very much. We'll talk to you on the next Short Attention Span webinar. Bye, Kelly.
Thanks, Bill.